You've probably seen this guy online. Does this guitar look familiar? How about this amp plugin? How about just this awesome logo? Yeah, that's Tim Henson from Polyphia. And he might be your friend's favorite guitarist right now. He's definitely one of mine, that's for sure. I think I can speak for a few people here when I say, I wish I could shred on guitar. You know, play something impressive. Play something fancy. Play some awesome scale. I've been playing guitar since I was a kid, and for some reason, shredding just didn't quite click. I ended up liking rhythm guitar and riffs and just not fast things. At least I couldn't play them. I couldn't quite break that barrier, especially not like the people of today. Fast forward a little bit more than a decade, and now I get to be in the studio with some of my favorite guitarists. I've gotten the chance to see some pretty cool people in the studio. Slash, Wolfgang Van Halen, Mark Tremonti, Miles Kennedy, just to name a few. And watching these guys play has a way of inspiring you to just want to pick up your instrument and play immediately, which I can't do in the middle of a session. But first chance I get, I'm on it. I can remember just itching to get back to my guitar, or just feel some sort of vibe take me over and I just want to get back to my guitar and play something cool. That's the power of watching an awesome guitarist, or just an awesome musician in general. But there's still someone that's escaped me so far. Tim Henson. I would love to see Tim Henson in the studio, if anyone wants to make that happen. Now I'll be honest, I kind of brushed off Polyphia for a while. I think I'd heard about them, but I thought they were just another instrumental band. And then enter Goat. I was blown away. The music, the visuals, all of it. I loved it. It just transported me back to when I was this young emo kid that wanted to shred on guitar. It was just so refreshing to hear. And maybe that's my fault for not listening to enough new music. I just thought it was awesome. It was a technical and visual execution that I just think was wonderful. Props to whoever their video guy was, by the way. I had been so stuck in the classic world that I just forgot about modern techniques and modern players that had been emerging from the depths of the internet. I went down a rabbit hole just trying to find what I'd missed. Guitar was changing and I had no idea, but it didn't really hit me until Playing God came out. It's been a while since classical guitars, nylon strings, have really been in the public eye. And then comes along Tim Henson.
I'm Tim Henson.
And he just blows the world away with this song. Now, the band had been experimenting with clean guitars the previous record, and this record just took it to a whole new level. And somehow, this nylon string guitar song just took the world by storm. I mean, everyone on Instagram was trying to play this. YouTube, TikTok, everywhere you went, you found someone trying to play this song. It was awesome. It was like the Pokemon Go of music. We had world peace for maybe like 2 seconds. Is that what it is though? The challenge of learning something complicated? What about all the people that don't play guitar or don't play music and they just like the song? They thought it was really cool. I think there's a misconception that you have to be a technical musician to enjoy technical music. With a band like Polyphia though, plenty of non-musicians love this band. Now, I know what you're saying. You're like, well, that guitar player's pretty cute, though. Yeah. I know. They're good-looking dudes. But that's not the only thing that matters. The music's what matters. People enjoy what they like, and somehow these virtuosos found a way to blend brainy guitars with mainstream music, and the end result is awesome. Now, I got the chance to see Polyphia in Orlando. I'm not trying to brag, but it was pretty freaking awesome. It was super last minute, and it kind of cost me an arm and a leg because I waited so long. But to be fair, I didn't know if I'd actually be able to go to the concert. Fast forward, we get there. I end up waiting in the merch line for a while, and then the band starts. I'm freaking out. I'm literally like trying to get my shirt and poster, and the band is starting. We're freaking out. And I could just tell this was going to be awesome. So we grab our stuff, kind of miss a couple songs, sucks. And then I get to see what my girlfriend had been raving about all this time. What I'd been hyping myself up for. These guys put on a great show. They played like an hour and a half of kind of complicated music when you think about it. And they're jumping around. The crowd is super responsive, respectful too. You know, no one's being an idiot and just like bashing people for no reason.
Don't be the idiot in the mosh pit.
And before I knew it, it was over. In a blink of an eye, the concert was over. I didn't realize what had happened. I was amazed, actually. I feel like it was that good that literally it just was over, and I wish there was more. I just wish they'd keep going, but hey, what can you ask for? I think sometimes we can be quick to judge, and in this instance, I just didn't really give this band a chance, and I'm glad I did. I ended up enjoying my time there. I ended up waiting outside, talking to some friends, and getting to meet Tim Henson, which was really awesome. Super nice guy, freaking awesome neck tattoo. It was really just a great night overall. You've probably seen this epidemic of Instagram shredders. And I think a lot of people try to lump in someone like Tim Henson and Scott from Polyphia, when I think there's just a bit more substance to their songs. Yes, they're playing something flashy. Yes, it's impressive. But if you go back and listen to those songs, they're still valid. You know, there's good parts throughout the whole song, catchy riffs. I think that's why they've become standouts in a crowd of all these shredders. They're not just shredding scales anymore. I mean, especially in a case like Polyphia, I don't even know what you'd consider some of the stuff they're playing as far as the blend of techniques. You've got finger tapping, harmonics, finger picking, thumping with your fingers like a bass guitar. They're really just combining like every element of guitar playing at this point. That's how far advanced I feel like we've gotten. I think what's important to know though is Polyphia's been around since 2010. These guys have literally been going at this since they were kids. They're not just some random guys that popped up on the internet and blew up because of some music video. They started on YouTube. They started posting playthroughs. It's what gained them a lot of traction because it was really cool to see some young kids harmonizing guitars and a young band just doing what they love. They've definitely put in the hours, and I still don't get how they do some of it, to be honest. From a guy that's worked on a variety of records and enjoys a little bit of psychology, I think a world plagued with the desire to be entertained quicker and quicker leaves the opening for a band like Polyphia to kind of have their moment. There's something going on just about every second in one of their songs. It's kind of like ADD in a song. And it's almost like EDM music to me in that way. A lot of different elements, a lot of textures, sounds, and just a different take on guitar. It's an endless scroll of music to just dance on your ears. And somehow they find a way to interweave influences of gospel, funk, soul, and still a little bit of their old shredder instincts. It's really impressive. It's honestly beautiful. What I think would interest you to know is there's a lot of collaboration on this album, actually. I was pleased to find out the band collaborated with a lot of my favorite musicians, Luke Holland being one of them on the drums. And I think that's part of what makes this newest album something that's kind of taken the guitar world by storm. They've taken all these influences and they've collaborated with people from different worlds to get all these vibes on their record. And it really breaks out of the mindset that as a band, you just have to write everything yourself. It has to be this locked box of creativity. No one else is allowed in. But in reality, that's just not how the best music's made. Some musicians like to collaborate. Now I know what you're thinking.
What? My favorite bands don't write their own songs.
Yes, some of your favorite bands have some help. But when you think about it, being in a band is collaborating. By being in a band, you're choosing to collaborate with other people. What's the difference in inviting a few different minds in on that? I think we forget that musicians have friends, producers too, and sometimes they do cool stuff and they might want them on their record. As a musician, you meet a lot of people, and I think in that you find people that you want to collaborate with on your own music, and that's something that we've seen here is clearly there's been a lot of inspiration and collaboration from a lot of different corners of the music world. I mean, I'm kind of blown away if you go from point A to point B of an album like this, how just different everything is, and still the same, but just genre-wise. It's a lot of genre bending to me, and it's really cool to see. I think we've gotten scared of the concept of a lot of writers on songs ever since we learned some of our favorite pop hits were written by like groups of 20 people or whatever it is. But ultimately, a little bit of collaboration isn't a scary thing. Sometimes you might have a friend that just helps you give that finishing touch on your song. The future of guitar is in great hands because this is only one example of many guitarists that are online today that are blowing people's minds. One of many guitarists that are just emerging from this new wave of guitar and new wave of music. It's an interesting time to be alive and playing an instrument. Heck, Tim Henson got me to buy a new guitar because of him. Sadly, not his guitar because they didn't come out until like a month or two later. Literally, if I would have just waited like 2 months, I probably would have bought his signature guitar instead. So, if anyone wants to trade, maybe? Just kidding. No, I'm not. But seriously, guitar's changing, and I think for the better. It's not just about pentatonic scales and arpeggios anymore. Boundaries are being pushed, and a new wave of guitar is emerging. Heck, sweeping seems like old news at this point. I hate to sound like an old guy, but when I was a kid, sweeping was like the coolest thing you could do at the time. And if you could do that, you were basically like the coolest dude in town. I can't imagine what people are gonna do with guitar in 100 years. They're probably just gonna like stare at the guitar and think of sounds, and then it's just gonna make music. Maybe they don't even exist. Maybe they're virtual guitars surrounding us in the room like the Matrix. Imagine imagining yourself playing Eruption and it just like emanated from the guitar. Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know. You tell me. So before you try to say guys like this aren't good or they have no talent, try and pick up a guitar and play one of their songs, because I guarantee once you do that, you'll know what I'm talking about and you'll understand what this whole video is about. Professionals make things look easy. That's why it's so awesome to watch them do it, is because it looks like it's effortless. And you hope that you can equally play it that effortlessly. I think that's what's awesome, is they make you want to play it. I was pleasantly surprised to see just how foreign a song like Playing God is to play on guitar. It just was this mind-bending thing for some reason. It's just another way for you to expand your palette. The more songs you listen to and the more songs you learn, it'll just add on to your tool belt of musical ideas that you can use for your next song idea. So get out there, play some guitar. Peace out.